Hello, yes, this is your girl, Queen of Commentary, and we are back with another video. Yes, this video, of course, is about the LaTruth saga, but this is a topic that God had placed on my heart, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to talk about this aspect of marriage and what really happened that I feel happened between LaTruth and Miss Brittany. But before we get into it, you know what to do. Thumbs up the video, subscribe if you have not already, cut your notifications on, and leave us a comment. So I happened to, basically, I was, watching these series of videos talking about different couples who put their life online and they were basically, the perfect couple and beautiful and had children, but something went awry, something went wrong in the marriage that caused something completely devastating, okay, to say the least, okay? Of course, this situation is not to that magnitude, but, I feel like, this could help others to know why you should not place your marriage on social media. Myself, I've been married for a couple of decades, and I don't talk about my marriage. I very rarely put my husband on camera. We're not on camera together because we've done it and we've done it before. But I've noticed that it's a lot of pressure. You have to understand, and I'm coming from a spiritual aspect here and a physical aspect as well. So just to let you know, you have to realize that people are watching. A lot of people are watching. You don't know who are watching. You don't know who these people are. You don't know what their intentions are. And it's just basically dangerous to put something, on display to people you don't know. You don't know if they are happy for you. You don't know if they envy you or jealous of you. And I believe, that, yes, there are people out here who will pray for your success and pray for your happiness and your union. And then there are people out here who will pray, PREY, on your marriage and wish for bad things to happen. And I've been around people, family, so-called friends who really did not have my best interest when it comes to my marriage. So one thing that has helped my husband and I over the years is that we keep our marriage contained. Yes, we show it to say, yes, there are good marriages out here. Yes, it is possible, but we don't flaunt it. We don't trump it up, meaning we don't lie on it. We don't boast about it, because to be honest, it's something that God blessed us with, and I'm a firm believer, and it's in the word. It says, what you do in private will show publicly. So it's funny, my husband, he picks me up from work every day. And, some people look at that and they think it's kind of like weird or off. I had so many people walk up to me. I have a spirit of people love to talk to me. If you met me in person, people just literally just talk to me, tell me all their business, and then they'll say thank you when they leave. It's ridiculous. It's a blessing. But I have to pray and say, God, help me deal with the fact that people just tell me all of their business, and I always try to give them a word of love and encouragement through Christ. I don't give my own opinion. This one guy, he had walked up to me and said he had a troubled marriage. He and his wife are not sleeping in the same room, and she doesn't love him. And I got a sneaky kind of feeling that he wanted to have a reason to want to, talk to me and see where I was going. I said, hey, talk to God about it, do this, do that. I kind of shut that down. It's so funny how that happens because, I've been closed in for years. Ever since the thing that happened back in 2020, I kind of became like a hermit crab in my home, and I did not socialize for years. And now that I'm out in public, I'm literally, it's been like I was in prison all of those years, spiritually and physically, because it was just my husband and I all those years. And then I have to, learn how to deal with real live people with different spirits. I have another person who, tell me that he and his wife, he can't talk to her. And I say, Lord, you don't mean you can talk to me. You know what I mean? But they always talk about their marriage to me. And I guess it's a safe place here with me because, I am not going to try to talk to them and tell them to leave their wife. I'm not going to flirt with them. I'm not a Jezebel. I'm not a harlot. I'm a good woman. And something in them senses it, but they have issues too. To not know that you're not supposed to tell complete strangers, even your family, about your business. I hope you guys got that little intro. That's the warm up. And understand that, marriage is hard enough for two people and for God to be the head of that marriage. Imagine millions of people telling you what to do, telling you what they would do, and telling you to leave, stay, and they don't know the whole picture. All they know is what they see on social media, what the influencer, the content creator, puts out there. So let's think back. When I myself, to be honest, I did not watch the LaTruth. So this is your time, audience, to kind of fill me in. What did you guys see? What were some red flags that you guys saw in the LaTruth marriage between Sir LaTruth and Brittany? What did you guys see to let you know that things might not be what they seem? Okay, place that in the comments. But the time that they were coming around my timeline, FB used to be bumping back, a few years ago. You didn't have to be a follower or someone who subscribed to anybody. That would just be on your timeline. Someone shared, it's on your timeline. So I came across their timeline one day and I saw him and I saw her. The first thing that struck me, or as you would call a red flag, was the fact that Miss Brittany was shaking her tail everywhere. She hardly wore clothes. She always was placing her body on display. So it's kind of funny how, as content creators now, we're like, oh, she put her thing on display. She's wearing these shorts. She's putting this. She's selling this. She's selling that. But she was always like that. She was like that with LaTruth, and LaTruth allowed it. So why did we think she's going to be any different? Because after the man, because she's single now, she's not married. She did that with a husband. So let's imagine, how far she would go without a husband. So that was a major red flag for me. Just to see that he would basically put his own wife on display for other people to kind of lust and want her. The marriage was never real, in my opinion. Yes, they were married on paper, but were they married spiritually? They literally did not know any better. They didn't even try. They were Hollywood from the beginning, okay? And so if they both were to go forward and get married to other people or try marriage again, this is my advice to them, okay? So we're just going to go ahead and take a quick little break, okay? And I will be right back. Now, placing a marriage on display on social media can lead to various challenges that may negatively impact the relationship. Oh, shout out to the person who placed the comment on one of the LaTruth videos, guys, and I can't find it to even heart it up. I should have hearted it up. I should have remembered where it was. But she said she could not stand Miss Brittany and to pray for her. I think she was listening to one of my commentaries, of course, and she, I guess she was basically saying, I would love to feel the way you feel and deal with this in the way that you're dealing with it, but I can't stand it. I will pray for you, okay? And I pray that you will learn how to God will come in and soften your heart and understand that, if you are a content creator, which I feel like you may be, you just have to come from a standpoint of how would you like to be talked to? How would you like to, if you were in that situation where someone was trying to basically do content on you, how would you take information and not take it as an insult, or the H word or the B word, and actually take it in and say, this person is actually helping me. That's basically how it was done. It's called empathy. It's called compassion. And so I pray that you are able to have empathy and compassion without going through anything, without having to struggle. Even though as God's people, we will struggle, we will go through some things, but know God is there to guide us and get us through it, okay? And so I pray that you have compassion, all right, for this storyline. I used to always get people in my comments. Now that I think about it, my memory has been struck just by that one comment, and I think it was other content providers, I don't know if they're still around, and they would say, man, I would just be cussing, and they would be cussing and fussing and calling her all kinds of whatever, and I went through the whole 30-40 minute video and didn't cuss that girl out. Well, I don't cuss people out in real life. I have to have respect. You can't, for me as a woman of God, I can't say I'm a woman of God, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman, and sit here and cuss. I don't cuss in real life. I was not taught that. I was taught that cussing is basically a lack of vocabulary. It shows your basically it shows how smart you are, or how maybe some voids may be in your education and you just don't know how to express yourself. Basically it's a sign that you don't know how to express yourself, and so I'm not coming down on anybody. Trust me, I do cuss. I do use expletives in my private life if I'm angry, but I don't cuss at other people and things like that. But now my husband, has gotten me together where I don't even cuss with him anymore. Like, I find if I get angry, I just say, Lord, help me. And, when you get further into the word, God will just literally just change you. It's not completely overnight. It's over time, but you'll just see the little nuances of, wow, before I would have dealt with this. Like, before I went through all the things I went through within the last 6-7 months, financially and mentally, the job that I have now, I could not have ever done in my life. My temper, my tolerance, all of that were very short. And that's just a sign that you just haven't gone through enough. So God had to, when I said, please, God, change me, please take the anger away, he said, okay, you ready? All right, let's go. And this so far has been a 3-year process. It's 3 years and I'm still under construction, you guys. It's not overnight. Remember, be patient. God is there and he is working on you. Let him do it. All right. So that's my little prayer for you guys and anybody else. For the young lady who left that comment, and for whomever else is struggling with dealing with this storyline in a nice, precious way and not be so, angry. Because, even if you're trying to help her, if you're angry, cussing her out, making fun of her, laughing at her situation, it basically gets lost within that, and then the message will never be taken, and you have to understand this is a representation of yourself, and what we put out there, we're going to have to be accountable for. So let's put out love and compassion. All right. So placing a marriage on display on social media can lead to various challenges that may negatively impact the relationship. Here are several ways that this exposure can contribute to marital strain. So there was some marital strain way before LaTruth said, I'm done. Okay. Unrealistic expectations. So this is what social media does to a marriage. Unrealistic expectations. Social media often portrays an idealized version of relationships. Couples may feel pressured to live up to these expectations, leading to dissatisfaction with their own relationship if it doesn't match the curated images they see online. So usually what couples do, married couples do, you put your good times up. So they say, oh, I didn't know that this marriage was like this. I didn't know this relationship was like this. It's because people who are married on social media and have relationships, they're not going to put their tough times. They're not going to put the rough times. They're not going to put the times where things are not well. They want to portray this perfect marriage, this perfect relationship, which we know no marriage is perfect. Marriage has ups and downs, but you need to have boundaries on how low you would go in a marriage. We're hearing a lot of stories about people just basically having no respect for their spouses, and they're, you have issues of, mistreatment, and then it sometimes escalates to even worse, and by the time we see it in the news, we're like, oh my gosh, I thought they were a great couple. We didn't see the incline that was being done behind, closed doors or behind the camera. We just saw what the couple placed out there. And so you shouldn't do that, because once you do that and you get the likes and you get the the fame for having this beautiful relationship, then you have the pressure to be fake and phony and say, hey, this is how we are 100% of the time. I've seen so many social media marriages atrophy, deteriorate, because they only want to put the real deal out there. And you're not supposed to put your problems out there either. It goes both ways. Privacy erosion. Sharing personal moments can erode a couple's privacy. This lack of privacy may make partners feel vulnerable or exposed, leading to discomfort and tension in the relationship. Okay, and then you have your audience, who are the demons out there. You're not gonna have everybody good. Remember, you're gonna have more bad people, more demons out there trying to break your marriage than to support and say, hey, we want longevity on your marriage. And so they want to know everything. You show 4%, they're going to want to know 40%. You show 40%, they want to know 100% of what's going on, which is no one's business. And what are they going to take with that little nugget? What are they going to take with that information? They're going to go in their coven and pray that it gets worse, or they're going to go to God and say, I pray for this marriage to cover it. More than likely, they're going to curse your marriages, people. Okay? I've done it in my own life. If my husband was getting on my nerves or whatever, I was getting on his nerves, we would go to a certain person and say X, Y, and Z. When we go to that person, did that person support us? No. Did that person make it better? No. They basically pushed divorce on us. Divorce is not the worst option. You guys need this. Oh, this is, and God had to awaken me and say, will you stop going to this person talking about your marriage? Will you stop? You guys have to get together and work this out with me, which is God speaking. We had to realize that. Comparison and competition. Constantly comparing one's marriage to the seemingly perfect relationship showcased on social media can create feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or resentment, which can weaken the bond between partners. So what happens is when they place this out there, which is kind of false advertisement, then other people will say, oh, I wish my marriage was like that. Oh, couple goals and this, that, and the other. And then your marriage becomes this huge monument, almost a god for marriage, when you guys are completely lying. You're completely being fake and phony. You're not happy. And then when the camera is off, you cannot stand each other because you're placing all of this glitz and glam, knowing privately your marriage is decaying. Misinterpretation of intentions. Posts can be interpreted leading to misunderstandings or conflict. Comments or behavior that seem innocent to one partner might provoke jealousy or insecurity in the other. So when, Sir LaTruth would, put other, make videos, and she would make skits. I think that's how they would therapize themselves, by making these skits. One skit they had of her, spray painting his car, or vandalizing his car. Or one skit was, a phone thing. They went in a car. She was like, who is this? Who is this on the phone? Those were real situations. Real situations that happened privately that they tried to popularize on, make money, and make, a living off of that, which was very bad. You cannot take negative things and try to trump them up and make them about your marriage. It's going to make it worse. You get what I'm saying? You're supposed to remove negativity. You're supposed to not want to place that on the forefront. You get what I'm saying? And that's what they were doing, and then it caused even more. You had more issues. You have two people who have tempers, two people who don't know how to deal with their emotions, and you have them in one relationship. That is a catastrophe. Attention from others. Sharing personal aspects of a marriage may attract attention from others, which can result in flirting, inappropriate interactions that could threaten the relationship. So they both have said that people, of course, they have the DMs. People will be in their DMs and say, oh my gosh, and being that there were no boundaries, there were blurred lines in that marriage. It was all kinds of things in Brittany's inbox, and so Sir LaTruth's inbox. So you have these women in both inboxes, and you have men reaching out in both inboxes talking about, oh, I see that your marriage is not going well, and this, that, and the other, and I can do it better, and I can do this. And they have all of that temptation along with the issues in their marriage, and they don't have God in their life. God was there, because God is there even in our sin. He's there even when we out there fornicating, doing things we have no business doing. He might be saddened, but he's still there. That's called grace and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life, and we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever, right? Yeah, he's always there. But they weren't aware of God. They didn't know. Because if you know God is there, it's certain things you would not do. If you know God is watching you and God is covering you, it's no way that you would do the things that you do. So everyone who's out there doing things they have no business doing, you don't know God is right there watching. You think you're on there doing your own thing. And he's there watching, and he's not facilitating what you're doing, but he's waiting for you to grab his hand and understand that he's right there. He wants to take you out of that issue and bring you over and say it's good over here and go forth and do no harm. No more wrong to in your life. Okay. But yeah, you're getting the wrong attention from people. You'll get the attention of, oh, y'all need to break up. You don't need to be together. You don't get the attention that you want when you're putting all of this stuff out on display. And we in the flesh, we're weak. The flesh is weak. We're not strong enough to endure all of that. You're just one person, and you're basically getting all of these different spirits and all of these different entities thrown at you at a weak time. It's going to collapse. It's like termites, right? Spiritual termites, demonic termites, eating the, internal house the wood and the internal frame. You don't know until you step on it, right? Well, that's what's going on spiritually. You have all these demons. You're drinking, you're fornicating, you're doing all these things. You're not respecting your wife. Your wife is not submitting to you. The marriage is internally atrophying. You think it's strong, and then boom, something happens and the whole thing collapses because you're not giving God his due. You're not understanding that God covers you. But his covering will not work if you're constantly sinning. You're constantly doing things you have no business doing. You're incorporating lifestyles that's not right. Polygamy. You're drinking. You're doing different chemicals. You're doing different things. You're trying to be single in a marriage. It does not mix, you guys. It does not mix. Performance pressure. Couples may feel compelled to perform for their audience, prioritizing social media validation over genuine interactions with each other. So you're basically going on there being fake, being phony, being not real, and you're trying to please the audience instead of pleasing the one you said I do to in front of God and vows and things like that. So it becomes a performance, and the genuineness of your marriage has gone, if it was ever there in the first place. This can shift focus from authentic connection to maintaining an online image. Conflicting amplification, loss of intimacy, oversharing can interact with your private, intimate nature of your marriage. When couples share too much about their personal lives online, it can reduce the sense of specialness or intimacy. I remember there's a video out here of saying, my man has all of this and he's that and I love this and I'll never leave him. But as soon as he couldn't perform, or as soon that things got, tough when he, had a bout, you were out. So it became where that marriage became just about physicalness. And when that time comes, when your marriage is literally just about the physical aspect, it is going to go down. It's not going to last. Distraction from real issues. The focus on maintaining a social media presence might distract couples from marriage, leading to unresolved problems that can fester over time. So obviously there was things that are being swept under the rug. Let's just put this camera on, let's make this money. But their problems were not being solved. It was not being dealt with. And then when the camera comes off, they have this big, huge mountain of issues that is getting more tough, more difficult to deal with because they just want to make money. They just want to put this, front on, making us think that they're a power couple, and they really aren't. The real power in the couple is God. He is the glue. He is the foundation that will keep a marriage together. And if you don't have God, the marriage is going to fall. And the enemy wins. The enemy will win if you don't allow God to do what he needs to do. Because remember, we have free will. We have to let God in and let him redo us and clean us up and do all that to our marriage, and always give him his due and say it's because of God this marriage has been able to withstand all of the storms, all of the issues, okay, that it has gone through. To maintain a healthy relationship, couples may benefit from establishing boundaries around what they share on social media, prioritizing personal connection over public perception. You don't know boundaries until you get to the Word. When you get in the Word, you'll learn what boundaries are. You learn what to do in a marriage, what not to do, how to treat your husband and wife, what to do, what not to do. The Word teaches you that. Read Corinthians, read what love is. You'll know the rules of marriage, and your marriage will be fine. It will work, and it will basically, stand the test of time. That's boundaries. Don't read a book. Don't ask social media. Don't ask your mom. Don't ask your dad. The Word will tell you the boundaries, what to do in a marriage and what not to do. I'm sorry I had to say this fast, but I want to make sure that I got it all in the video. And I didn't make it too long. All right, guys. I will see you. Continue in the comments. Let me know how this has helped you out. I will see you guys next time.